5.7, the binomial theorem. First thing we got to talk about is Pascal's triangle. Anyone familiar with that? Pascal's triangle? Most of you have probably heard it said before, but don't understand how it works. So we start, that's it over there on the board, by the way. We'll use that to refer to it. So you don't have to memorize Pascal's triangle, but you will have to generate it. So each row starts and ends with a 1. So second row is 1, 1. So first row is row 0, second row is row 1. Again, we start and end with a 1. We add right here to come up with the middle number, so 1 plus 1 is 2. Ends with a 1. So that's row 2. Row 3 starts with a 1. What goes right here? 1 plus 2 is 3. Yay. 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay? So it's easy to generate, and remember the most confusing thing is you start with row 0, not 1. You start with 0. So row 4 is 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. Right? So to get the 4, we just added 1 plus 3 to get the 4. 3 plus 3 is 6. 3 plus 1 is 4. So the fifth row is 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. 4 plus 6 is 10. 6 plus 4 is also 10. 4 plus 1, 5. Ends with a 1. Any questions about how this works? It's kind of important that you understand how it works. So I'm going to go to row 7 because the very last problem we do in class goes to row 7. So 1, 6, 15, 20, 15, 6, and 1. So row 7 is 1, 7, 21, 35, 35, 21, 7, and 1. Recording, by the way. The people laugh at your comments too. Alright, so now you don't have to write what I'm about to write. Okay? This is the formula the book gives you, which is just a freaking nightmare. Right? You look at that formula and you're like, yeah, I have no chance. I'm done. Like, stick a fork in me. Come on. So I'm going to prove to you why this formula is good, and I'm going to teach you this formula in a very easy to understand kind of way. You'll see, right? So this is what I do as a teacher. I look at this book and I'm like, there's no way in hell anybody's going to understand that. And then I figure out a better way to explain it to you. So we're going to prove that this formula is necessary. X minus 2 to the 0 power is what? You don't have to write this down, okay? X minus 2 to the 0 power is? 1. Don't say 0. Is 1. Okay? X minus 2 to the first power is x minus 2. If you say x minus 2 is x minus 2 squared, it's x squared plus 4, I hate you, so don't say that. This means x minus 2 times x minus 2. X minus 2 times x minus 2 is a quadratic, x squared minus 4x plus 4. So I taught you guys a quick method for FOILing before. I will remind you of that now. It only works when I have x in the beginning of each parenthesis. And what I can do is x times x is x squared, no problem. Negative 2 plus negative 2, negative 4. Negative 2 times negative 2, positive 4. Okay? So it makes it really easy to FOIL if it's just x at the beginning. Well, you have to remember to write the x. I mean, yeah. So then if we have to multiply it by the third x minus 2, then you got to do this thing, which is annoying, x cubed minus 4x squared plus 4x minus 2x squared plus 8x minus 8, like so. And then we end up with x cubed minus 6x squared plus 12x minus 8. So this was to the third power. How many terms do we have? 4 terms, okay? So you always have one more term than you have in the exponent. Just good thing to remember. Okay, so now we're going to write this one down. And we're going to do this problem. So we need the 5th row from Pascal's triangle. So this is row 0, row 1, row 2, 3, 4, 5. So we need to use this row, the 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1 row. So I'm going to write that down in a different color, so take math notes in a different color, it's helpful. We're going to write that 5th row down, 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. I saw a question in the back, give me one sec. Okay, question, somebody?
How do you know you use the 5th row of the exponent?
Yeah, just by the exponent, that's all. Remember, the only tricky part is to remember you have row 0. You can also remember that the 5th row has 6 terms, right? So it's always got to be one more. So if you screw up adding the rows or figuring out which row is which, you can just know that it's the one with 6 terms if the exponent is 5. Peter?
Anything where you go past 7?
No. And we're just, the only reason I wrote 7 today is because the very last problem. I won't even give you 7 on a test because it's just annoying. Okay. So here's what that formula meant, that nightmare formula from the previous slide. We start at 4y to the 5th. The next 4y on the second term is going to be 4y to the 4th, then 4y cubed, 4y squared, 4, etc. This one starts at negative 3x to the 0 power and goes up by 1 each time. So negative 3x to the 0, negative 3x to the first, to the second, and so on. So we're going to build this thing out. It'll make sense as we work on it. Okay, so the very first term, I want the 1 from Pascal's. So I'm going to use red for that. And then I'm going to do 4y to the 5th power. Remember that it's multiplication in between these things. So we're going to have negative 3x to the 0 power. So when we have subtraction, right, this is a binomial because it has 2 terms. When we have subtraction, the signs always alternate. We start at positive, then negative, then positive, then negative. I'm just going to make all my signs positive for now and deal with the signs later. So the next term from Pascal's, I have to have that 5. And then it's going to be 4y to the 4th power. So times 4y to the 4th power. Negative 3x to what power? 1. So negative 3x to the first power. So it just, the first term goes 5, 4, next one's going to be 3. So again, I'm going to grab the term from Pascal's. So plus 10. And then 4y to the 3rd power, and negative 3x squared. Let's erase the rest of this. You can keep going if you want and double check it once I'm done with this. So this is negative 3x squared. Yep, plus 10 again. So plus 10 from Pascal's. And then we've got 4y squared, negative 3x cubed. And And then we got the 5 from Pascal, so again, plus 5 from Pascal. And we have 4y to the first power, negative 3x to the fourth power. So most students will ask, how do you know when you're done? When the second term gets to the fifth power, the first term gets to the 0 power. Or you could also think when you've used all these from Pascal, that's also when you know you're done. Okay? So now we have plus 1 from Pascal, and then 4y to the 0 power, and negative 3x to the fifth power. So it's really easy raise your hand if you made a stupid mistake on a test. Every single hand should be up. It's really easy to make stupid mistakes on this, right? Because you're multiplying all these things, raising negative numbers to even or odd exponents. So you just got to be really careful as you do this. Anyone need more time on the end of this thing, right, Nick? Okay. So let's start this thing off. So first of all, negative 3x to the 0 just goes away, right? Because it's 1. So we need to do 4 to the 5th, which I've now taught this 3 times today. 1024, y to the 5th. 4 to the 5th is 1024. You could check in your calculator if you just need to see it. Sometimes students are like that, and I take no offense. Tatum knows 4 to the 5th is 1024. Not so much, huh? Okay, good, I'm glad you know. So next one, right, the signs alternate. You know the signs alternate when we have a negative right up here. So the next one's going to be minus. Okay? So I like to cross these off as I go. And I'm also going to write, actually I'm going to move the minus over. I'm just going to keep it lined up below the term. So you can have those big gaps in between, I don't care. So 4 to the 4th is 256. So we need 256 times 15. So somebody do that for me, please. 256 times 15.
Wait, so you multiply...
Hold on, do it first, and then we'll talk.
3,840.
3,840.
Yep.
Y to the 4th, x to the 1st. Question?
So, what do you multiply 5 to 140?
So yeah, I just already wrote the negative, because I know the signs alternate, so I kind of ignore that negative. So it depends. You could just multiply 5 times negative 3, negative 15. Negative 15 times 256, 3840. Negative 3840.
Why don't you just multiply the 4y?
You can multiply in any order, doesn't matter. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, next one's going to be plus, because the signs alternate. So now we're going plus negative 3 squared is 9 times 64 times 10. So somebody do 9 times 64 times 10 for me, please. Just read it out, number by number.
760.
So 5,760 y cubed x squared. So again, crossing off as we go. I forgot to cross the last one off. Cross this one off. So next we have 4 squared is 16 times negative 27 times 10. So 16 times negative 270.
Minus 4,300.
4320.
Yep.
Thank you. Y squared x cubed. So I'm going to cross that one off now. Finish with that. We only got 2 terms left. So negative 3 to the 4th is 81. 81 times 20.
1,620.
16. So we're plus now. 1620, right?
Yep.
y to the first, x to the fourth, and then I'm sure you all know that negative 3 to the fifth power is 243, is that right? Somebody check that for me, please, 3 to the fifth.
Two
243, thank you. So 243, x to the fifth. So as you get into more and more difficult math classes, like you take pre-calc and calc, this binomial theorem can help you. They may ask you like what the fourth term is in this expression, and we're going to work on that now, understanding how you can figure out, without having to write this entire thing out, which you have to do once on the test. The second question on your test is going to ask you, it'll ask you something, let's actually go to, make sure this is switch from these. So let's make this one to the fourth power. Okay? So we're going fourth power now, and I want you to try to I'm going to help you with the first one. We're just going to come up with the third term of this expression. Okay? So if I'm looking at the fourth, I'm looking at the fourth row of Pascal's, which is 14641. So I'm going to write that down first. So I want the third term, so 1, 2, 3. I'm going to use that 6. So I want the third term, so we're going to start at 2x to the fourth. Second term is 2x. We already started at fourth, 2x cubed. Third term is 2x squared. So 2x squared, right? And then we're going to start with negative 3y to the 0, first term. Negative 3y to the first, second term. Negative 3y squared, third term. What do those exponents add up to? Right, the exponents are always going to add up to whatever the original exponent is. So if we just look back at that old one, right, 4 plus 1, 5, this is 3 plus 2, also 5, right, so the exponents have to add up. So if you that's a built-in double check for you. David?
Why did you use the third term first?
I'm just asking you for the third term. This is the third term, so I'm not having you write the whole thing out. I just want you to figure out what the third term is. So you're just starting with that first part of the binomial, 2x to the fourth, third, second. That's why it's 2x squared.
But usually we would do all three.
No, I just said we're going to do one expansion on your test, and then one where I'm going to ask you just for a specific term. Okay? Yeah?
So the exponent is based off of which term you use? Like, so for sake of the third one, so 1, 3, 4. Like, the first one would be 4. Is that right?
First term is 2x to the fourth,
Yeah, then 2x to the
third, and then second. Yeah, exactly. So you just count down from the top, right?
And you start with whatever exponent you start at.
Starting at the exponent, exactly. Okay, so now we just got to do this. So that's 12 times 9, which is 108. So 108 x squared, y squared. Did I get it right? Ryan? Okay, good. Question? You have to do order of operations, right? Square the 2 first, then square the 3, and then multiply by 6. Okay? You got to follow those order of operations. Okay, we good on this one? I'm going to have you in your table group do one next. Okay? So we're going to go to, let's do this one, and I want the fourth term. So fourth row, we're going to use 4 from Pascal's. wrong one, my bad. Thank you, Ashton. Fifth row, I did the wrong row. Fifth row is 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, you need the 10.
Like, if you do -3, but
-3 squared.
and then
But is that in parentheses?
in the calculator,
Yours is 18 off because you didn't use parentheses.
so I have to
You have to use parentheses. I've told you that for 2 years now. Use the parentheses. Make sure you use parentheses, people, if you need to. You should have, I'll write down before we multiply everything what you should have. So we're using the fourth one from Pascal, so that's the 10. And then you started, we want the fourth term, so 3x to the fifth, fourth, third, second, so 3x squared. And then you know it has to add to 5, right? So it's going to be -2 to what power? The third power. And you can double check by starting like 0, 1, 2, 3. Right? So in that formula I showed you guys, that's the n-1 part of the formula, but don't use that formula, it's too confusing. So here, I'm just going to do the number part, so 10 times 9 times -8 x squared. So 90 times -8, -720. Yeah. -720 x squared. There's no y in the problem, right? So no y. Yeah. Okay, yeah. And I'll do problems like that, so don't freak out if you don't have a y. You don't have to. Okay? Anyone need? Yeah, go ahead. What happened? Is it -2 cubed is -8?
Right, why is extra 9? There's no y.
There's no y. Yeah. Okay, we're good? How about we do last one? I can see. Let's do the third term on this. So x to the 7th, right? We're down here, so you're going to use 21 from Pascal. Third term, you got it. Aren't you supposed to be working on that?
3.
Okay. Here you go. That'd be awesome. Good. I think that's a good move.
Y.
So 2x to the 5th, and then 3, -3, y squared. You get 6,048, right, Julia? Is that what it was? 6,048. Thank you. X to the 5th, y squared. Yeah, at the end. Number first, then the variables. Okay, and they got to add up to the x ones up there. Question? So -3 times -3 is, that's right. Make sure you use parentheses. -3 squared means -3 times -3. Okay? So don't, you gotta be careful with those signs. Yeah, I told you guys to use parentheses when you're squaring negative numbers 8 million times, so make sure you do so. And then, even if you get stuck, you can just think of the alternating signs. First term's positive, second term negative, third term positive. Right, it alternates when we have a negative in here. Okay? And if it's positive, obviously all the terms are positive. So if you end up with a negative number, that's your clue that you messed up. Any other questions? Okay, good. We're good, we're done. Homework.